Good morning everyone. Alrighty, so what are we at? It's just after 9:15 Tuesday morning. It's a lovely day. I'm just looking outside this morning. The sun's shining. It's not too cold. Don't have my jacket on this morning, so that's pretty good. I'll try and keep this one brief this morning. I just want to give you an upmarket update, have a quick look at the news, have a look at some charts, and go from there. So let's have a quick look at what the market's doing. Alright, so on CoinLib, my current favorite place to get the market wrap. Okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, $6,624, up 3.91%. Ethereum, $477, up 5%. Ripple, 49 cents, up 6%. Bitcoin Cash, $783, up 5%. EOS is $9, up 9.82%. Litecoin, $86, up 7.62%. Cardano, 15 cents, up 8%. Stellar, 21 cents, and up 9.64%. IOTA, $1.17, up 8.64%. And rounding out number 10, Tether at 2.7 billion. And the amount traded is, volume I think is 1 million. Can't read that. I'm not sure. Maybe it's could be the market cap. Yeah, I think the important factor is there, the market cap. Just how much money is in Tether, and it's in the top 10. So if you're not familiar with Tether, the idea behind Tether is use it in exchanges, and you can trade against other coins, and it's guaranteed apparently. So the jury's out on that one. All right, and yeah, so then you go down a bit further. You got some really good gains, some coins, in the vicinity of 20% gains today. This is lovely to see. Love it. So that was exciting that Bitcoin is up. Now let's check out the news. Alright, so I had a quick look on Cointelegraph, a few of the articles I want to talk about. So Coinbase custody targeting institutional investors officially open for business. So basically this is all part of this regulations and getting everything in order so that more institutions can come into the market. So basically Coinbase has already stored $20 billion worth of clients' crypto in the past 6 years. But now they've got a new custody offering through the SEC compliant. Okay, and essentially, so I'll scroll down. Yeah, essentially, it says that it could unlock $10 billion of institutional investor money sitting on the sideline. Now this was revealed previously, back in May. They've just mentioned it again. Coinbase's index fund is opening up to US accredited investors. That happened in mid-June. And also they've got plans to widen their user base in Japan, because Japan's pretty big with crypto. So look, when the big companies like Coinbase are doing these sort of things, it's only going to increase the adoption, only going to increase the amount of money coming into the market. So this is a good thing. Let's move on to the next article. Thailand. They're considering, there's a few companies there, they're considering doing a joint crypto exchange. So it was reported 2nd of July, there's a couple of firms that are basically got an operating license with the Thai Securities and Exchange Commission. So they can set up a, basically set up the framework so people can trade legally in their new framework that they've just come into force in May. So that's good. They're building a dedicated exchange for Thailand, which is great news for people in Thailand. Next article is this one here. No surprise, BitMEX. BitMEX is a trading platform. Okay, the co-founder becomes Britain's youngest Bitcoin billionaire. Billionaire, that's right. So he's 34. Founded BitMEX in 2014. Said he used to spend 18 hours a day building his platform. Now that the trade volume is around $2 billion a day is traded on the platform. So they've, it's been a long process. But BitMEX is basically it's a pretty good platform where you can both go long and short on that platform. So yeah, definitely there's some money to be made in trading platforms because people love to trade. So just reading a little bit more here. It doesn't say too much. It says in January there was a claim by BitInfo Charts that said there were no fewer than 35 Bitcoin billionaires worldwide, possibly as many as 200. And the Winklevoss twins, they were the first official Bitcoin billionaires. They held 1.063 billion at the time. That was earlier. I think last year I reported on that one when that came in the headlines. Next article was this one here. If you're a Windows user, be so aware of this, and this is the importance of having a Trezor. This is a Trezor hardware wallet. Okay. Hey, comment below. Hey Chris, how you doing, mate? Comment below if you have one of these Trezor, this hardware wallet, because this article I'm going to talk about explains why you need to get one of those. If you're not sure, I got training on how to set these up, what they're all about. That's in my free course that I've got. You can always click the links below and check that out. Make sure you use the coupon to get it for free. So this is a new malware that hijacks Windows clipboard. So if you're not sure, when every time you use Exodus or any type of system with the like addresses and stuff like that, okay, you copy and paste the addresses. And what this software does, okay, is it basically it's pretty tricky, right? So you think you're paying someone. So let's say you copy an address, you paste it into Exodus, and then you're going to send it to somebody, right? So you got their address, you pasted it in, you press send. You might send them $100, $1,000, $100,000, whatever. And then the person gets back to you and says, hey, you didn't send the money, you didn't send the Bitcoin. You said, yeah, I did. And you check the address and you discover the address is not the one you sent it to. This is what this software is doing. It's changing the Bitcoin address that you're sending, because when you copy paste, it detects that, and instead of pasting the address that you want, it's pasting another address. This is why the importance of when you paste an address, if you do that, always check the first lot of digits and the last lot of digits before you send the transaction. Make sure and confirm that that is the address you want to send it to. Okay, so this is like a malware that specifically attacks the clipboard. Targeted 2.3 million, and that was reported on June 30. And so this is how serious it is, and it goes on to say, talks about hardware wallets, specifically the Trezor. G'day Gordon, how you doing, mate? This is the Trezor, and I mean there is other hardware wallets at the moment. I've got my hands on this one. I've had this one for a while, and with the hardware wallets, it prevents you from this sort of attack happening. So I just wanted to let you know, if you are going to use copy paste, that's fine. Double check that address at the beginning, at the end, to make sure it's right. All right. So, give me 2 seconds. So let me know if you guys do have a Trezor. Just put that in the comments below. I would like to hear a bit more about that. So we'll move on to this piece of news here. The volume of the crypto market. Let's check this out. Hey Michelle, how are you this morning? All right, let's have a look. Scroll down a bit. So this article is talking about the increase in decentralized exchanges, the amount of volume. So you can see on that little graph there, this is talking about basically the amount of volume that's increasing. This is particularly for one called Paxful. Paxful, they're an exchange. Okay, they're what they call an over-the-counter OTC market. So what's interesting though is the CEO says that the over-the-counter market, right? There's an astonishing lack of investors who are unwilling to sell Bitcoin at the current price range. So that's interesting to note. So I'll just read what he says here. In a world, there is one geopolitical event can terraform entire markets. One apparent core developer or exchange hack can affect the price of Bitcoin, and whole economies currently embroiled in the inflation hell of currency wars discovering Bitcoin as a safe haven. It isn't a stretch of the imagination to see Bitcoin rise steadily back to 20,000 and above. The astonishing lack of sellers in the Bitcoin OTC markets is another hint that the smart money is in on Bitcoin, and the real action is in the peer-to-peer, and the ultra-wealthy and desperate people looking to preserve their wealth both look to acquiring Bitcoin in large quantities. So that's something to think about. So no one, like the OTC market, just to explain what that is briefly, you've got the markets where you go to an exchange and you buy and sell, and it's open and transparent, you can see all the transactions. But let's say I want to buy 10 million, right? If I put that through an exchange and I want to buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin today, actually I think I'll show you in a second what happens when you buy $16 million worth of Bitcoin in an hour. That will see what happens to the price on the exchange. But let's say you don't want to affect the price on the market and make that price go up. So you buy it OTC, over the counter. It means that someone else has got $20 million worth of Bitcoin that you want to buy, and they're willing to sell it to you at an agreed price. Doesn't have to be what the current market value is, but they will sell it to you at a price and you agree. It's like a one-on-one type thing. Okay, and places like Gemini, they handle OTC. That's what they do. That's one of the biggest ones, Gemini, which is the Twinklevoss brothers. So so this is the point this guy's making. Ray is saying that the lack of sellers in the Bitcoin OTC markets. So they're wanting to buy, but there's not many sellers. Now, it's basically saying that people want to buy and get into Bitcoin because there's a lot of happening in the whole economy, in the markets and all over the place. But Bitcoin, other than like the whole internet going down completely, then the chance of Bitcoin failing is pretty low. So people are putting their money into it. Also, they're doing it decentralized so that they can't be traced as easily, and that's another thing. They don't want governments interfering with, taking their funds, or essentially stealing your funds. That's what governments do, and that's what banks do. So that's something to think about. So the ultra rich are getting into Bitcoin, and there is a lack of sellers selling it. So that should tell you something. So let's have a look at. So there's been new capital inflows into the market, and then we've got here. We've got here a few of the articles that we're talking about. This was about Bitcoin's protocol can be analyzed to track criminals, and that's what they want to think, that if you use Bitcoin you're a criminal. It's the same thing as using cash. In Australia now it's illegal. It'd be legal. I think it's illegal right now if you're using cash. You cannot accept any more than $10,000 cash. Otherwise, it's against the law. So, the real money that we have, it's just ridiculous. You can't, if you've got $10,000, all right, you can't accept that cash into your bank account. It's illegal. I mean, that is a joke, isn't it? And you know why? Because you're criminal. You're a criminal if you've got the cash and you're receiving. You must be doing something wrong with it. Who has $10,000 cash that you do just transfers to somebody, or do transfer someone or give someone $10,000 cash? The days of giving 100,000 cash, you're a drug dealer. That's what you are. This is what the government says. So, don't get me started on the government. All right, so there's some articles there. This last article, this one's interesting. This is where the state, people get worried about, Bitcoin's at 5,800. Well, it's at 6.6 right now, so we've had a good little run. But people get worried about it. We're going to see back to where it was, previously. We're going to get to 20K. We're going to get more. Well, this was an article that says, talking about M1 fiat. So I won't go into the definition of M1 fiat, right? But essentially, it's talking about the money supply, and I briefly talked about that yesterday. What they were saying, this is between Blockstream and also this guy called Samson, which is Bitcoin Think, is an editor, and they were discussing about what would the price of crypto need to be if you converted the entire global government money, which is M1, which is 4,686 billion. So I think that is a lot. I'm not going to do whether it's a trillion or not, but let's say 4,686 billion. I actually think that's what it says there. And then what they're saying is that's how much the government supply money, right? Now, McAfee, remember he was talking about 100,000, for the coin, right? And Tim Draper, well, basically they're talking about the coin has to go to $223,186.19 per coin to achieve completely take up all the money for that. So in other words, if you've only got 22 million Bitcoin, and then you take the whole circulation, which is 4,686 billion, okay, you take that amount of money and you put it in terms of Bitcoin, and you're looking at $223,000. Now, that's pretty incredible, right? Like that's all about adoption and converting, and this is only for M1. Okay, this is not for M2 and M3, which means Bitcoin will be around $5 million. This is an estimation that they've covered in here. So some really smart people have done the math and come up with, the first figure, if all the money converted, would be 223,000, and then after that, when you do M2 and M3, it'll be around the 5 million figure. Okay, so this doesn't mean tomorrow it's going to 223,000, but it just goes to show we're at 6,000 now. It's been at 20K. If you 10x that, we're at 200,000. So it's quite possible that it's still going to move and take up, and as more money comes into it, that's when we're going to start to see it expanding. The thing is that if you're not involved in it, and basically if you're going to miss out. Your dollar that you have, no matter where you are, is losing value right now, but Bitcoin's not losing value. You might think it is, like, oh, it's down 70%. That's nothing compared to the value of your own dollar. If you do the historical research on the dollar that you have, you've lost so much value since it's come out. It's ridiculous. So I thought I'd share that with you. I'll end on, I've got the quick chart up here. This is Bitcoin. This is just on, it's not on GDAX anymore. It's Coinbase Pro. There we are right now. Okay, we're still, pretty much low volume here, but we've had a couple of days and then we're back up. So this will be like the third day. This is positive. We'll see how it goes through, whether it breaks through 7,000. But this is kind of like, this is the support levels down here, and this is where it is, support level. So if it's going to continue, we're going to see a continuation through 7,000, and then we'll go from there. Don't know, can't really predict where it's going to go, because let's put it this way: when basically this is how the price moves, right? Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Let's wait for this chart to load. And you can see what happens. So it's not like a gradual thing. It's not like during the whole day people gradually buy more and more and more and more. That's not exactly what happens, okay? So what happens is you'll be going along, there'll be a certain amount of volume, and then someone decides, oh, I'm going to buy 10, 15, $20 million worth of Bitcoin, okay? And when they do that, what happens is they buy all the orders out at the level in the order books. Then once that's all they've done that, is that price, they have to get to higher prices to be able to buy that Bitcoin, okay, because this is done on exchanges. So when you're buying $20 million, you're going to increase the price of Bitcoin. So this is how it works, and we'll see this as soon as this chart loads. You can see that where the volume spike is and exactly how much. So as you can see, we're going along here, and the volume is, this is just normal everyday people just doing, trades, and then all of a sudden, right at this point, this huge bar, this for this volume, right? There's a little bit, and then bang. Now, I think that was about $16 million worth of Bitcoin was transacted, and this little block is 5 minutes. So in a 5 minute span, I think $16 million worth of Bitcoin was bought. So sure, if you get a lazy 20 mil, you can move that market, a couple of hundred, maybe $300 currently. That's what it takes to move it. And then it stays at that level because, and the only way it will move down is if someone big that's got a lot of Bitcoin decides to sell and do that. But there's no advantage. Right now that it would make more sense to run Bitcoin back up to 8, 10, 12k, even 20k. And then they can choose whether they want to turn it around and send it back down again. So you got to look for these signs, and this is important to remember that if you're just a small little player and you've got to wait for the big players to decide the direction. And at the moment we're at support levels. We're getting this here. This is a good indication. And then you need to see more volume. And in the news, all we see is good news. Don't see too much bad news. So while the good news is happening, and the volume starts increasing, that's when we're going to see the market pick up again. But it's regardless. Like, I make money regardless of whether the market's going up or not. Okay, so if you want to ask me about that, make sure you DM me or send me a message or comment below on how I do that. Now, I've got some free training. Some of you guys don't know I have free training. I've got a link below. You can click that. I've got a paid course, but you can get a coupon. Make sure you use the coupon. That way you get it for free. So you can either go to ecomrebel.com, and it says click here to get started. You'll see the coupon on the front on the page there, and you just click through and check that out. All you do is you put your email address in, and then where it says coupon, you type in the coupon, and then you'll get it for 100% free. All right. So check that out, and if you've got any questions, put them down in the comments below. And also, I want to know whether or not you have a Trezor, because the risks are pretty serious, with losing your Bitcoin or crypto. So yeah, pretty excited about that. I'm glad I invested in that when I could. All right, I think that's all I've got. So I will talk to you guys later on. Bye.